Hello everyone, I am Tacet, and today I'm going to be going over the best teams in version 2.2 of Gems of War. Before we do, I'd just like to say thank you to all of your continued support. We recently just hit 4,000 subscribers, greatly appreciated. Thank you everyone. But anyways, we will be getting into all of these teams right here. Yes, I'm going to be doing 10 whole teams today. This is going to be everything archived as far as everything that is basically good right now, because version 3.0 is going to be the next patch. It's going to be coming here within the next couple weeks or so, at least for PC and mobile. And I figured since quite a few of these teams may not be applicable after that time, we might as well show quite a few of what is good right now. As far as what has changed from 2.2 or from 2.1 or the previous patch to now, the biggest thing is the new event system. Every single week there are different troops that now have a certain bonus. So what is good on any given week can slightly change based on what has a 25% bonus, as well as what troops may have a whole 50% bonus. Though the teams I'm going to be showing are relative to basically any week, that are pretty much always strong regardless of what the team bonuses are. A couple other things that changed is we now got the Silverglade Kingdom. This brought a new stats effect of enchant. This gives 2 mana every single turn until they cast their ability. Even once they get to max, they'll still have it. So if they're at something like max mana, they get drained for like a 7 off of something, maybe like a Spirit Fox, they'll still have the enchant on them. It only gets removed when they actually cast the ability. We did get a couple mythics and quite a few other troops leading up to that. Most of the mythics were pretty bad this cycle around. I don't believe a single one of the teams I'm going to be showing are actually using any of the mythics that have come out between the 2 patches, but I will be using a couple of the troops that came in, particularly some of the Silverglade troops, as particularly the legend in there is used in a lot of different teams. But yeah, these are all the teams we're going to be going over. They'll all be in the description below, so let's get into them. Here is the first team we are going to be going over. It has a Behemoth up front, mainly for the impervious. Everything on the team deals damage to everything other than Famine, which will be draining their mana and targeting out whatever else we may need to target out. And the Krystenax Dragon Soul combo, you end up seeing that quite a lot in this version, mainly because it's really powerful. Consoles, you currently don't have Krystenax, but you will be getting it really soon by the end of this month, and there's definitely a lot of potential for it. There's also a slight glitch with it where it does a 1-to-1 ratio pretty much right now instead of a 2-to-1 like it says on its ability, so even more damage. That will likely be fixed next version, but we might as well utilize it now while we have the chance. It also has that new ability of enchant, which whenever you take purples, or at least with his ability, when you take purples, it will gain enchant, and enchant does 2 mana every single turn until it reaches, or until it casts an ability. So even if it gets drained, it'll still keep doing it from that drain, but as soon as we cast our ability, it'll go off. And it's really good at accumulating any of our mana. You can see it's still triggering even though we already have full mana. Of course, it doesn't really do anything when we have full mana unless we end up getting drained. But we'll do that, get a bunch of our mana, get the extra turn from there, keep poking on the board wherever we might be able to take something. It is kind of good to go for the extra turns with this, as we do gain quite a bit of HP whenever we do. So we can just throw down our Krystenax. We'll do that on brown. Get a nice little bit of damage in there. We'll follow it up with a Dragon Soul. Behemoth we may cast if we don't have anything else to do. Famine is mainly just for a backup if we need those drains and those pokes. But for the most part, we will just be able to get them all dead from the AoE. One big thing that this does have a little bit of a disadvantage with is if you need a really quick single target. Famine is not really good for that, but you can always replace Famine out if you had to. But we'll do that with the Dragon Soul. Please do not revive. And there we go. Perfect. And that is the team. This is one of my more favorite teams that I've been using, because Impervious first slot is pretty important right now. A lot of people are using troops that can place stats effects to your first troop, many of which are annoying, like Freeze, Entangle, and Deathmark are pretty popular right now. So it's good to have a nice Impervious up front. For the second team, one that many of you are probably really familiar with, if not, then good for you. Wraith, Bone Dragon, Courage, Famine, and other various variants of Bone Dragon Courage are really powerful right now. This is mainly due to Bone Dragon. He can create a essentially infinite amount of skulls. He creates 8 skulls plus an additional one at a 3-to-1 ratio based on their armor. The later you are in the game, the higher the armor values are. If you are a lower level, you likely don't really need to deal with Bone Dragon that much, but if you are a higher level, he can do ridiculous amounts of skull spam to the point where he can cover half the board in skulls. This works pretty good with fully traded courage, as his trait is pretty glitchy when there are clumps of skulls, and it will trigger a lot more than it should, anywhere from 3 to about a dozen times from a single mass of skulls. And the Wraith, Wraith is really powerful. Even though it's only a common, it does have the ability to place freeze and death mark when doing skull damage, both of which are arguably the best two effects in Gems of War. So very powerful, especially for a common. Even though there are multiple troops that have the ability to do the death touch on it, many people just use Wraith even in late game, simply because it's just more powerful than the other few options. The next best would be something like Herald of Chaos, but of course Herald of Chaos would have full mana conflict with something like a Bone Dragon, so not as commonly used. But we'll just go down the line. The general premise of using any Bone Dragon team is you just keep doing it on every single one of the next troops. So to kill the first troop, you do it on the second, then you do cast it on the third, then we cast it on the last troop, and then their whole team just dies. That's generally how Bone Dragon tends to work whenever you use them. We have the banner set to a brown-purple. The purpose of this is to make sure we can get our Bone Dragon up as quickly as possible. The rest of the team is kind of just aesthetics. The only troop really on our team is Bone Dragon. The rest are just to support our Bone Dragon. One thing to note is that Bone Dragon is indeed being nerfed next patch, so definitely enjoy it while you can. Oops, forgot about the Frozen Soul. Yes, if you do hit a Bone Dragon that's fully traded, you will lose your turn with skulls, because it will freeze you instantly, and that freeze will of course be on your first troop, and unless that has immunity to freeze, then you're going to get frozen. But we'll just take that, hopefully get a little bit of our mana here. We can just take a brown or something, would be really good. Doesn't look like it. We'll just have to wait a little bit until we can get that last little poke on him. Doesn't look like he's going to give in, but we'll just get that brown. That will be enough damage. We even got our Famine. Didn't even use our Famine. Didn't really use anything other than the Bone Dragon, really. We didn't even really get to utilize the Wraiths or anything, but there we go. There goes Bone Dragon, killing out an entire team. So let's go on to the next one. On to the third best team now. We have, again, the Krystenax with Dragon Soul base, this time being used with all dragons. This is quite viable now due to the addition of Dragonian Monk on one of the event weeks. Really, Krystenax and the Dragonian Monk. Dragonian Monk is a really good replacement for things like Gorgotha. It's still not as tanky against Gorgotha, but as far as just general tankiness, if you just need something on your team to help you give that little bit of board control and just to help tank against any kind of damage you may be taking, Dragonian Monk is a really good alternative. One really nice thing about him is he does act as the additional 3 damage for your Dragon Soul, as it is indeed a dragon. And that's the main thing that you tend to use him for, just as a substitute for Gorgotha on all dragon-related teams, so that you can actually make them all dragon. But same general premise of really any Krystenax Dragon Soul team. Try aiming for those purples as soon as you possibly can. This is spamming everything out as quick as possible. Pretty much everything on the team hits all enemies. Always really good to have damage that can hit all enemies. The only real downside of it, especially with this team, is it doesn't actually have anything to target something down. So for example, if his Bone Dragon was in like 3rd slot and we couldn't really kill it that easily, or even in the 2nd slot where we can't aim at him really with anything, it does have that slight disadvantage since we can't just target it down if it's about to get full mana. More often than not, you won't really need to worry about that. You'll probably win before they can get too devastating of a cast off. It tends to be generally how it goes, especially if you get lucky on Cascades, as we appear to be doing right now. And yep, there we go, perfect. And well, that's about as best as we can get RNG. We probably should have done the Dragon Soul. Always good to do the Dragon Soul if you can to get the kill, because you do get a little bit more souls that way. But we still win. And there we go. Pretty quick battle, get all of our resources and everything like that. So let's move on. Next up here, we have a Honor and Guards Avatar based team. Even though Bone Dragons are running rampant, burning down all of the armors that we may have, it is still a pretty good idea if you happen to have a Guards Avatar laying around to use it. It is still particularly my favorite mythic in the game, and you can easily fill it up even if you don't have it traded. The team I'm using specifically right now is made even if you do not have it traded. It will still work similarly as effective. I do have a couple teams I use with him that are dependent on him having traits, but this is not one of them. As far as generally what we have to do, we need to try getting up our Dragon Soul, and then that will get into our Apothecary. Then from our Apothecary, we will get all of the mana that we're going to be needing. One really good thing about the Apothecary as well is that she has a cleanse on her ability. If we can just find an extra turn somewhere, looks like we'll have to do it on blue. We'll, even though it's frozen and everything right now, we'll just be able to get it cleansed off. Works really good against this really annoying team that is used a lot. Actually, I believe this is the second time during these videos that it's coming up. I'm pretty sure by the times I get all these recorded that we're going to see this team for like half of them. I'll try repicking some of them because this team is really overused and variants of it. But hopefully after next patch we won't be seeing that as much anymore. But as of this current moment, it is running pretty rampant. But we'll just throw this down. Didn't even get the actually wait, yeah, we did get one Guards Avatar off, but we'll get a second one right here. Honor, of course, we use to get the little bit of armor that we need. You can do it to get it up to a one-shot if you really wanted to. Normally, it's not as efficient to do so, but we'll just throw this down, and that is the match right there. You can see he barely even got any armor from casting, and you can easily get all of it just from using your Honor's ability. And even if your Honor dies, you have the Dragon Soul, which has a chance to revive, and even if that dies, then your Guards Avatar will hopefully still be able to do the last little bit of damage by then. And of course, Apothecary's in the back as a back tank, just in case they have back damage, because you do not want your Guards Avatar to take any physical damage, or as minimal as possible. Next up on the list of best teams, we have the Justice team. Many of you are probably pretty familiar with this. This has been a really good team ever since Justice was introduced to the game, and still is an extremely solid troop. And a solid team in general. What we just do with this is rush up our Valkyrie. From there, we try spamming Justice pretty much infinitely. We use this with fully traded Archer. The reason for this is it has a 15% chance every single time it takes skulls to instantly kill, which will help if its attack is not enough to instantly kill on its own. And it also has the fast trade, so if they have something that may make you need to AoE and just kill them all by hitting all of them, you can use your War and Peace weapon, as well in combination with Queen Mab, to be able to take out the enemy. So you have really two options. You can kill them with skulls, or you can kill them just by hitting their entire team at once. And you can even use a little combination of both. You can do slightly skulls and then get the rest of it up to be able to kill it off of your ability, such as a free turn from Queen Mab if you have 13 or more reds on the board. But right now, just want to be trying to get up our Valkyrie, which isn't going too well this particular battle, but we can get those reds from there. He is going to get Creeping Death, hopefully no kills from that. Okay, she didn't get either of those. We do have a nice brown, and we'll want to aim this at pretty much anything. As long as we can get a lot of blue on the board and a lot of mana for ourselves, it'll be fine. Just double check the amount of blues. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, this thing does 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's 12. So we'll not play around with it. We'll just go and put a little bit more on the board. We'll get our extra turn from over there. You did see we got the bullseye, which allowed us to one-shot it. That does look like enough blues. Not going to go for the count right here. We will go for the yellow, as we will be needing a bit more mana since we don't have Justice up. Won't be able to keep him looping. Yeah, we weren't able to get the loop, but we will be able to tap him out, go for the War and Peace, and actually, let's go for the Valkyrie. We'll let him tap us. So he'll get that little poke. As long as we're not frozen on blue, we should be fine. We can't take those skulls now because he did indeed just freeze us right there. So we'll have to go with just doing Justice. Let's look at our skulls and everything. But we'll just need to hope our Justice can get on blue. Otherwise, we'll do our Valkyrie. And unfortunately, nope, we get our green exit turn, and that is something that we are frozen on. And he does get the death mark off. Very annoying Wraith right there. But at least now that he got that out of the way, we're not frozen on anything, so we can take skulls freely without having to worry. If anything, he kind of helped us right there. And yeah, so we just take our skull, take another skull, and there we go. Didn't go as smoothly at the beginning there, a little bit of annoying Wraith. But that's generally how the team goes, is get up your Valkyrie. It's really adjustable to whatever the enemy team does, because you do have a lot of different kill options, whereas many teams, you have to stick with the single one that is based around, like all AoE, or target them down one by one, or skull spamming, whatever it may be based around. This has a nice variety of a little bit of everything, so regardless of what your situation is, you'll normally have something to be able to win with. On to our sixth battle now. We're doing one against our 1 trophy. It is a good idea sometimes to go for your 1 trophy, especially if the reward on a given week is something like a +5 glory, because you can farm off of these battles the best. But with this team, we just get a nice brown troop, sacrifice it. Ideally, we'd get all of our mana there. A little bit unfortunate that we get a complete miss, but we can still recover pretty easily. But all we really have to do is just cast Bombot and then cast Black Manacles. This won't always kill your 1 trophy, but if you notice that you do have a weaker 1 trophy, you can just keep this team on reserve and then just bring it out if you just want to get a really quick PvP win. This team in general with Princess Elspeth is about the quickest team in the entire game. I've tested a lot of them, and as far as using her and Explorer and everything, this specific team is the quickest that I have found. Not quite sure if anyone else has found anything quicker. If you have, definitely feel free to let us know. But if you're looking purely based on speed, you can normally get away with that on things like 1 trophy, and you can always get away with it on Explorer. Next up on the Lucky Sevens, we have the Sheggra buff. Sheggra did get buffed later on in 2.2. I don't believe consoles currently have this, but he did get Pyromania, which replaced out the fact that you could place burn whenever he does skull damage. Now he does twice as much damage if they are burned. And now, instead of having that useless burning enemies whenever he gets hit by skulls, he now burns a random enemy when matching red gems. So it can do kind of like what a Euro Fire Mantle would do, which would be burn the entire enemy team. So he can do that now too, and not only that, but it will be able to do a lot of extra skull damage off of our skull spam. Before, Sheggra used to be used solely as a support skull spammer. Now she can be used just anywheres, and as first slot if you want, anywhere else, more towards the bottom if you want to use her more as support. But she can be independent as her own skull damage now, which is something that she didn't have previously. A little bit of a bad board right here. We will go for the yellow convert most likely, even though we do need that for mercy and stuff. We could go into blue. Actually, let me go into blue. We do want to keep those yellows on the board to be able to get our Hellcat back up, so I will leave them. We'll throw Sheggra into this, and you can see we got the burn on it, and that'll be twice as much damage. So with a skull spam like that, I don't even think we need that excess of damage, but we got it. We'll now get our Hellcat back up. Should be able to do that somewhere in all of this mess right here, and I will be able to refeed our mana, except for the fact that the board will not allow us to. Doesn't look like we can get a mercy off either, so we'll just go for the scope here right there, use the Pyromania to be able to kill out the last of the damage. Still nowhere where we can really do it Hellcat, so we'll just throw that down on brown, try to get some more reds on the board. One bad thing about Sheggra is once it does cast its ability, it does remove all of the reds, so you do have that little bit of a nuisance since you won't have a little bit of reds until you can get something else to make them on the board for you. But there we go, we'll be able to utilize Pyromania right here, probably to get the last of our damage. Yeah, we'll be able to do that. Get a nice solid 98, and then we can just take any other skull, doesn't really matter where. Double skull, extremely overkill, but there we go, that is Sheggra. It can now be used in first slot, which opens it up to a lot more teams than what it was previously available for. One other team that I'm not particularly going to be showing right now, as I've done it many times in the past, but the Great Maul, Mercy, Inferno King, Sheggra. It's also even more powerful in that combo as well. For our 8th team here, we have my favorite base team of 3. It is the Gorgotha Dragon Soul Giant Spider combo. It is really advised as of 2.2 and probably all patches thereafter to have any kind of triple team that covers every single color that can use absolutely any 4th troop that you want. The main reason for this is due to the new event system that was introduced in the 2.2 patch, which makes it where certain weeks will actually have a bonus if you win with a certain troop, like a new event troop or something. And personally, as far as triple teams that I have tried, this is one of my favorite. It has the anti-skull, it has the good tankiness up front, has that Dragon Soul in there to give us that mana accumulation, as well as that slow drain of damage onto them, and it pretty much covers all bases. And if the event troop happens to be using purple, it's even better. One other thing, if you don't want to use this with any of the event troops, such as what we're doing right now, you can put absolutely any purple troop in 4th slot. I happen to put Death there quite often. If you need something cheaper, you can put Hero using Necromancer with Creeping Death. You can put a Kraken there. You can put absolutely anything there, and it'll work. Of course, what you will put there depends, will really determine how quick you can actually win a battle. It is really dependent on the other damage source, because Dragon Soul alone isn't excessively huge damage. Earlier on in the game, you might be able to get away with Dragon Soul as your only damage source. Later in the game, you kind of can too, but it's always advised to have something else just so you can start chipping them down. As you can see right there, we got a little bit of damage on all of them, plus we got the instant death mark right there, which is always helpful. Maybe we'll get a couple others of them to die to the death mark as well. It is a little bit more of a slower team, but it is extremely safe. And as I mentioned, it's mainly for the new event system where you can use it with any of the event trips. You just flop it right into the 4th slot. Don't even need to worry about its synergy or not, because the rest of the team will be able to handle it quite fine. Oh, there goes another death mark. Unfortunately, you did get the possession though, so we'll throw this down. The chip damage on that will kill it. Another death mark. Hopefully it won't possess again, and we can just kill it out. A lot of reds right there. We'll just take that right out, convert it over, get the leakage of the purple going into our death, get the rest of our death, recast it, and as long as he doesn't revive, that should be matched. Oh, never mind, death did not get all of its mana right there. That is a bit unfortunate, but hopefully this will give its last little bit of mana. Good. And actually we'll do... I don't think Death's going to be enough, actually, so we'll throw down a Dragon Soul again, and then do the Death for the last little bit. Maybe we'll even get a Skull here, and perfect, we do. And somehow, really, 1 HP? You're going to survive with 1 HP? Okay. Oh, there we go, Death, I forgot. The 2 damage per turn if you have it fully traded, so it died to the life drain of that. Let's move now on to the next team. Next up here, we have a team based around Bone Dragon and the Humilities to be able to feed the rest of the team's stats. One really nice thing about a double Humility team is it can essentially get all your stats to max. Normally, if you were to build a team around that, you would build a double yellow banner. You may have noticed though that I am a brown purple banner instead for this battle. The main reason for this is Bone Dragon with his current 14 mana. It is really easy with a high mana stance turn, or a high chance of mana surge, at least later in the game, that he'll pretty much always in 2 turns get up to full mana, and then we can just cast that out. And similar to some of the versatility of some of the other teams, we do have 2 kill options. We have either the Humility feeding our Draakulis until it can 1 or 2 shot the entire enemy team's HP, or we can just kill them via the Bone Dragon, which this battle appears to be doing. Or we'll get a mix of both, because now we can take that out. We might use this first. He did just take a yellow, which is a bit annoying, but maybe we can get a magic buff, would be great. Ideally, that's what we want to do with this team, is get a magic buff on Draakulis. Those are why the Humilities are there. If you do happen to have a fully traded Humility, it's pretty nice because you don't even need to really worry about if you can get a magic buff off, because as soon as they start hitting your HP, as you can see, it'll trigger Virtue of Humility, and then there we go, we did get 2 magic right there. And if they do that enough, without them even needing to do anything, you'll get all of the mana or all the magic that you need. But it's just taking skulls right now. I deliberately wanted taking skulls because, as we said, he's giving us the stats that we need. We almost just got Draakulis back up. Won't really be needing it though, it seems, as we'll just be able to get off another bone dragon and should be able to tap it out right here. Yes, we can. Get a tap, another tap, and we had a Draakulis waiting just to fire again if we really needed it. So there we go. Oh, and over 9,000! Oh no, actually exactly 9,000. Hey, exactly 9,000. Lastly, but not least, is another team to utilize the Sheggra. It utilizes both the Sheggra's double damage as well as the Webspinner's triple damage. We'll have the green Seer here to fill the greens that we need, and the Kraken to keep chipping out with damage as well as combination with the Webspinner. Again, we do have a couple different methods in which we can win. We can either go for the spam on the Webspinner and do it that way, or we can go for the Sheggra and try to spam its ability. You will also notice that it is one of the first teams we even really face this entire time that does have the new skill bonus. As you can see, this guy has 50%, all the rest of them have 20% because it is a Goblin Orc week, and he's like one of the only Goblin Orcs. But that is something new that did come in to the 2.2 patch, which can make the meta shift depending on, or it basically changes every single week what can and cannot be good. For example, like you can see this week goblins are pretty good, other weeks are kind of more towards average, and it can really change up depending on what kind of kingdom it is, what will and will not be good in a given week. But of course, these best teams videos are mainly just to archive all of these teams for whenever we want to look back on them in the future, because I know in the past haven't always we only started doing this around like the 1.9 update, so we don't have some of the other really old fun teams that used to exist in this game, but hopefully these videos will kind of be able to archive those for the future, and it'll of course help anyone else who actually wants teams now to be able to use. And most of these teams do tend to be good pretty far into the future as well, unless they like really get nerfed for some reason. Good majority of these, you can even see some of these I have used in past videos as well. Quite a few of them you've probably been quite familiar with. But we'll throw down another Webspinner here. As you can see, we're doing a little bit of combination of chipping them down with Webspinner as well as Skull Spam, as well as just about everything. Did we Kraken? I guess we Kraken. Not really that needed, but yeah, complete miss. There's only like 5 to 6 blues anyways on the board, but we'll let him do his thing. Get a nice bit of blues right there. Again, not enough green, so we likely will miss this. Still throwing it down though because we need to get it off. And good, we do get a nice hit right there. If we can get another extra turn, that'd be great. Then when all we'd really need is a skull. We'll try to see what we can do right there. Good, we do get an extra turn right off the top right there. Likely going to get an extra turn off the greens in that general area. We do miss because none of them end up spawning there. Oh well. All we have to do now is just tap him out, and we are done. What's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? Skull! Oh, no skull. No skull for us. Will we kill it with Kraken? Can we get it a Kraken kill? Or a burn kill? Yes, we can get a Kraken into a burn kill. Oh no, never mind. It's just going to be a Kraken kill. But there we go. It was still our turn, so we could have taken a skull if that wasn't enough, or casted another ability. But there we go. Final battle, and those are 10 really good teams for version 2.2 of Gems of War. I know console people, some of these you guys, some of these things that you may have seen in this video, you might not be getting till later, such as the Silverglade Kingdom and stuff like that, but it will be coming in the near future. Anyways, I hope this was very, very helpful. If you guys ever need any more assistance for Gems of War and anything related to it, always feel free to just leave a message on any of my videos, and I try to answer them all. If you want to get contact me a little bit better, another good way is to visit my streams. I stream every Monday, Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday. We also give out redeem codes, which are some free resources that you can claim within the game. On Mondays and Tuesdays, we stream from 8 p.m. till 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and on Fridays and Saturdays, we stream from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Anyways, I hope this was helpful, and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you all so much for 4,000 subscribers.